real vibe, got the 1942 pouring in my cup. In the session, real loud, good gas, yeah, you know we about to roll it up. Bring the bottles to the session, big tab, go ahead and just live it up. Get lit one night, after that, we can go ahead.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon, and we're here on 95 South Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on this platform, to be able to chop it up with, my man, you know what I'm saying, Ace Boom Coon, you know what I'm saying, brother from another mother, my man, Freaky at night, Nasty at Night, Mr. King Detective himself. What's going on, player?
Man, what's up, man? Welcome to another star-studded episode of the 95 South Podcast. We're going to chop it up about various things, that's going to embrace the conversation of the culture and changing it and coming up with a new narrative. But, we here, man, in the building, man, I give it to him raw, young Barry White himself. You know what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to let you introduce this young lady, and we're going to get this thing started.
Well, it gives me great honor and great pleasure to introduce, one of my partners, one of my road dogs, one of my shoulders to cry on, none other than, Miss Tiffani Real, She Real Radio Network. And she will teach you how to build something from the ground up. She's definitely a true example of starting from the bottom now with hair. So, welcome, Miss Tiffani Real. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me. It's hard to be a guest, but
I know. Because we chop it up all the time. So you're right. So me and you talk about a lot of different stuff of the culture and how much you love your people, and just how much we should honor our people as a whole, being on what we've been through, and and I hear people say, man, change the culture, and I hear him saying in sports, I hear him saying in music, I hear him saying in the world of corporate America, I hear him saying in the church community, I hear him saying on a lot of different things that they involve with when it comes to our people. And so when we say change the culture, man, the mindset got to change first. And so I just want you to chime in on your thoughts. First of all, as a businesswoman. First of all, as a Black mother, whose children are doing pretty well in life, and most importantly, just a Black female that sees things different when it comes to her lenses. When it comes to how she sees it and how she absorbs the world and sees it and put her narration on it. So you have the floor, Miss Tiffani Real.
well, thank you very much. That was pretty dope. Everything starts in the home. Everything starts from the moment you come out of the womb. I didn't grow up in a family where the word I love you was expressed. And to be honest, I think one of the first times I heard my dad say it, I was like 24 years old, and I thought he was sick or something. So it starts in the home, starts in the womb. When I was pregnant with my first child, I used to put headphones on my stomach and play music, and I would talk to my son and stuff, and I would see my environment. There are a lot of single mothers around, or they would let everybody in the home and stuff. So I knew when I had children, there were certain things I didn't want to do. You can't bring people in the house. Your home is your children's safe space. Nobody should be able to say they got molested in their home. It starts young. The seeds that you plant, everybody that comes in contact with your child, they have to be on the same platform. Everywhere you go, you have to tell them this is what it is for your child to go in a certain environment, because you want your children to not only thrive and survive, but you want them to know truth, and everybody has to give it to them. When they go to their grandmother's house, you can't let them do XYZ. When they go to the babysitter's house, they're not allowed to do XYZ. On the first day of school, you see them, the children see you with the teachers, and let them know, if anything happens, you call me the moment it happens, not 2 or 3 months down the line when it's a problem. It starts in the beginning, and it starts at the home. And whether you're with the father or not, you chose to lay down with that joker. He has equal access to those children. You did not create them by yourself. And you have to provide a village. And in that village, you're going to see good and bad. But if you plant those great seeds in them, they usually go in the right direction, and they become better. When my children were little, they used to say, Mom, I want to be just like you when I grow up. And I would think of the movie The Mac, when Goldie was giving money to the kids in the neighborhood, and the little boy, Goldie, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. And he got mad at him, and he told him, you don't ever say that again. If you want to keep getting this bread, don't you ever say that. You're going to go and be better than I am. And that was planted into those seeds. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I was on my own at 15, being emancipated after being in foster care. And your kids, they looking at you like you're a superstar, and they want to be like you because they think you're everything. Nah, you got to be way better than me, because you don't know the things that I've been through in order to give this illusion that everything is okay. You know what I'm saying? The struggles that I went through, they didn't have to go through. Not saying they didn't have to go through struggles, but nobody asked me, was I okay? Nobody asked me about anything. So I had to change the culture within my own family, because I let my children know at a young age, you can tell me anything as long as you're respectful. I asked my children, have you ever thought about committing suicide? Because I tried to commit suicide at 14, because I know how I was feeling at the time. So I was always concerned with their mental health and stuff like that. And nobody taught me that. Nobody taught me that. So when we talk about the culture, culture starts at home, because you can't help the world if your own family is in disarray. And that's not to say they're not perfect. That's not to say that at certain ages the kids don't go out and they start smelling themselves and stuff. That's a normal part of life, because you as a parent, you're teaching them one thing, and then you go out to society, and society, the majority seems to be telling them something different. So then the child, they don't know which way to go, because it's like, dang, nobody's saying what mom is saying. But you know what? If you tell your children the truth, if you tell people the truth always finds a way to present itself. And then your kids can come back and say, you know what, Mom, you were right about XYZ, XYZ. And it's not about me being right. It's about children having someone they know is always going to tell them the truth no matter what. So that they have someone they can trust, somebody they can come to, whether something's good or whether something's bad. And so for me, and I don't even know if I'm answering the question or not, but it all starts in the home. And just because the father and I, the ex-husband and I, are not together, we're still a family. And that's something that was talked about from day one when I got divorced. We are still a family. We still go to family gatherings with each other. If I go to Syracuse, where I'm from, I could go to his house. I could stay at his house if I want to, with his new wife and their kids. Their kids call me Mama Tiffani. When they come to Syracuse, when they come to Atlanta, they can come to my house. When people graduate, you're not sitting on one side of the stadium and I'm sitting on the other side of the stadium. We're sitting together and we're yelling and screaming. We don't have stepkids and all this other stuff. No, this is family. We don't put none of those words, because we don't want anybody feeling less than. We're whole when we're together. You fight one, you fight us all. And that's how
Right.
it's supposed to be. And then when you come with other like-minded families, then you can build something together as a community. I'm 49, and the generations before us, they would talk about how, if one family didn't have a lot of food or something, everybody would put their food together and everybody ate. That's a community. We don't have that now. You know what I'm saying? If somebody walked and tried to break, back in the day, if you were a burglar, a robber, you would go to somebody else's community, preferably white, no shade, and you would rob somebody. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it's right, but you didn't touch what was yours. Drug dealers back in the days, they had rules. You don't sell to kids, you don't sell to old people, you don't sell to family members, you don't do stuff. They had rules to the game. Those rules are gone. And in order for us to have a strong community, we have to get back to the family. And the family consists of the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents, all of that. Everybody wants to be separate and do their own things and stuff like that. No, in order for the families to survive, we got to be together. If you go to the Asian spots and get your nails done, those kids, grandparents, and stuff, they be in the back. Everybody's doing something. You know what I'm saying? You go in the Amish communities, they all working together. You go to the Jewish communities, the Asian communities. I've been all over this country. Everybody works together. But with us, we want to separate ourselves and get the bag, and we don't care if this person's this. No, 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 no. Until we come together and do what we need to do as a family, our culture is going to remain messed up. I didn't curse.
Mm, well. You're right. It does start with family first. You got to have those family jewels um, to teach your children how to navigate. And you're right. It did take a village back in the day. Everybody back in the day um, worked together. They was not jealous of who had more. The people that had more make sure that the people that had less, ate as well. So, with that being said, you know,
Can I just
you're right.
add one more thing too?
Sure.
And even like if you think about Black Wall Street, we were the model. There were a lot of wealthy people, but they wasn't jumping on all on top of each other. Everybody was eating. And if you look at Asians for a minute, they have the same restaurants. They charge around the same price. Ain't nobody trying to make more than this person. Ain't nobody's trying to make more, or less. Everybody's even keel. And we all have choices about which one we want to go to, but everybody's eating, everybody's surviving, and they hire within their own family and stuff like that so that their families can get the nail shop or the restaurant or whatever, but we want to go to everybody else to get what we need when we can all eat, we can all thrive and survive, but we want to, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I feel where you're coming from with it. Um, the family values and the family jewels have to be there like it once was. I can't speak for anybody else family, but I know when my grandmother, when she was living, even my mom, in her younger years, she's retired now, but she both of them fed the whole neighborhood. Like almost every young man in my neighborhood that I grew up with, I'd be like, man, how your mama doing, bro? Boy, she loved us all. You know what I mean? And nowadays, I could get we could get chastised by older people in the neighborhood. That was not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And your face better not be scrunched up because when they make their call to your home telephone number, like you still gonna get your ass kicked some more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got
Because
plenty of butt weapons.
yeah, yeah, because you showing out. So yeah, so changing that culture, man, it start with the family jewels. Icon, what's up with it?
Well, I'm gonna change the direction a little bit of the of it or whatever, or get my spill on it. Um, I think one of the biggest things is that the way we celebrate our culture, and what I mean by that is we celebrate negativity. You see it all the time. We celebrating somebody like Tory Lanez being convicted. We celebrate somebody like Young Thug and basically like, oh, free all these people when some of these people are bringing detriment to the community. You know what I'm saying? Not saying him in general, but when those things happen, but then when a person goes to school for college and gets a degree, a master degree to be a doctor or a lawyer, we don't celebrate those things. We was all on Deion Sanders, but we didn't look at the bigger picture. What he brought to the situation. We looked at the negative side of everything. So we crabs in a barrel. We don't know what to love and what not to love. We love the wrong things. We hold each other back. I remember going to the gas station last night and seeing these group of Mexican guys driving all. They came in like 4 or 5, trucks or whatever, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, that's how we supposed to be. As black people, we supposed to be in business together, building something or whatever, you know what I mean, and putting our money together to try to build something bigger so we can go and create more opportunities for other people and build houses and real estate and open up our own banks and do certain stuff. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But that's not the way we think about things. And then so we think our kids supposed to emulate us, but what are we really showing them to emulate? What are we giving them to basically say, "Oh, I want to be like y'all when I get old, when I get older or whatever." So a lot of the buck stops with us. We could talk about our parents, but our kids are not looking at the grandparents; they're looking at us. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of their grandparents may be passed on or whatever the case may be, or they're so far locked into what they used to do back in the 60s and 70s that the kids wouldn't understand it anyway. So we have to do a better job of showing them something that's bigger than themselves or whatever than just saying, oh, well, just because my parents did it this way or my parents did it that way, this is the way it's going to be. And this today's society is too much access to different information that these kids they're not going to just go with you saying, oh, you're going to do it my way and that's it. They're just not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So our generation has to do a better job of showing them and actually getting in their lives. Men, we have to do a better job of, talking to these young men and having conversations and not being scared, you know what I'm saying, to sit down with these kids and say, oh, they just disrespectful. Yeah, some of them are. But once you get to start sitting down talking with them, you'll be surprised how some of these young guys, they looking for that advice. They looking for that information from these men. But we make the excuse of we're not going to talk to them because they disrespectful. I talk to young guys all the time, in the store or whatever the case may be, or different places. And what up, OG? You know what I'm saying? What up, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Because if they see that you're actually trying to approach them in a positive manner, then they'll reciprocate that back. So we got to do a better job of relaying the information that needs to be said and showing them something other than an athlete, entertainer, and a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? So that's my spiel on the culture today, how we should be, how it's looked upon.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna say all kids. Some kids have what we call a listing here, but for the most part, um, the code of conduct, the code of respect is lost right now. Um, you know, even in our generation, I know some cats did some horrific stuff, but I know these same cats that still make sure that you're not gonna disrespect the elderly. You're not about to mess with the elderly. You're not about to disrespect single mamas. Like I grew up with cats like that, but they was in the streets. You know what I mean? So my thing is uh, the internet and social media makes the young generation already think they got life figured out. You know what I mean? And so I say to this right here, to that, like to have those jewels where you have a listening ear, you know what I mean, that you can take something in, you know what I mean, and use it to your advantage to move forward in life. Uh, that's needed. So, you know, that's just my spiel on it. But me and Miss Tiffany, we always talk about how the music culture has changed, when it comes to our black communities. And so I'm gonna go ahead and let her chime in on it and give her spill on this music culture thing and why it upsets her, how we can change the narrative, and how we can stand on top of what we love and not really, downplay ourselves or not really do this because, that's what everybody is doing is trending, but that's not really who you are. And so, Tiffany.
Well, hip hop and I are the same age. So I love hip hop. Um, in the beginning, hip hop was full of storytellers. They talked about the things that were going on in the hood. They weren't telling you to do the things that they saw going on in the hood, but they were either making you laugh, partying, or they were giving you educational jewels that you can take with you. Growing up, one of the smartest people I knew when I was growing up were the drug dealers. They would give you history lessons. They could tell you about Black history. They, tell you to stay in the books. And if they knew you were smart, they encouraged you to be great. So I don't never downplay their role. And a lot of people in the streets, they used hip hop as an outlet because they took music out of the schools. When I was a little kid, they had chorus and stuff like that, and you'd be in the choir or whatever. But now you don't have that. So hip hop started in bedrooms, messing up people's records and all kinds of stuff like that. And you know, KRS Ones, you know, Public Enemies, they was out there teaching, but they weren't making a lot of money, and they were talking about the things going on in the streets. And I know I see Tiffany Real scrolling, and that Y needs to be an I, please. um, so,
Okay, shoot.
you got a lot out of it. But then once it went to the West Coast and you had the NWAs and stuff at the police, in a way that was needed too, because you needed that aggression, you needed that fight, you needed that energy. However, once it shifted, and then you had the Lukes and the me so hornies and the all this other stuff, it kind of changed. And you know you went from being unique,
You
everybody
funny.
having what it's not funny.
She said the me so horny. And the first thing came to my mind, me love you long time.
He love you long time, right? Exactly, because Robert Palmer, and then with the video vixens, Robert Palmer, addicted to love. He had the white video vixens behind him or whatever, whatever. And but when we came out, we were nice and classy in the beginning, but then we went to something totally different. Once Two Live Crew and them came out, we just
Boy,
busted
look at that.
wide open, and I
Yes,
don't
sir.
know. And now that I'm in radio, it's hard because people are always sending music. They're always sending music. And I don't charge people to play music on my station. I say the only thing is I have to like it. And if I like it, I play it. If I don't, I don't. But I'll tell you why. And you have so many artists today sounding, looking the same. It's like, do you think, and I ask these questions, do you think we're going to be listening to your music 10 years from now? Because it says something when we're still listening to music from artists from 30 years ago. When you ride down the street and you hear people bumping the LL Cool J's, the Tupac Shakuros, who's been dead for, all these years, we still bumping their music, but we're not bumping yours. When I heard Laffy Taffy, I was like, what has the world come to? Like, who made this and why? You know what I'm saying? Now you might be somewhere. I know that's your favorite song, King Jacob, but
You real funny.
I
Real
know that's
funny.
your jam. I'm not trying to hate on
Oh,
you and your favorite music, but we done changed, and now that people are able to make the bag or have the illusion of having the bag, we lowered our frequency, and we feel like we just have to do nothing to get everything. And when hip hop started, it wasn't about money. It was about telling our story in different forms. And it's changed because we allow it, and we're being pimped and seduced by money.
Well,
And,
Tiffany,
hmm
Tiffany real.
Are you pulling up
You,
Laffy Taffy on your laptop?
you right, but I just want to say, I feel like when you mentioned NWA, I heard
Hmm.
Big Daddy Kane say this. I heard Big Daddy Kane say when NWA came out,
Hmm.
that changed the narrative on what hip hop really was.
I
Hip
agree.
hop had structure. It was feel good music. It was educational. It was the art of storytelling. It wasn't promoting gangsterism. It wasn't promoting, pimpusa.com. It wasn't promoting I was born to be a hoe.com. It wasn't promoting none of that. So
Who you talking about?
when
You talking
you
about Big
got
Daddy Kane?
no, I'm talking about hip hop. How
Oh,
Big
okay,
Daddy
okay.
Kane said how Big Daddy Kane said gangster rap killed his career.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so with that being said, the agenda was real. When they seen these guys say fuck the police, then the agenda of people was like, okay, they can say fuck the police. I know they're gonna say fuck each other and start wanting to kill one another on wax. And the rest is history. That's where we at with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes. Go
yeah,
ahead.
like, yeah, and that's the thing I've always said about NWA. See, the thing about it is when we start talking about culture again, our generation celebrated that, so we made that popular in our generation. The NWA came the biggest group in America based off of one song, not the whole. If you look at the whole catalog of NWA, most of it is about and disrespecting women. Most of their music is not positive at all. You know what I'm saying? If
None
you
of it.
listen to
What?
early, if you listen to early Snoop Dogg, you know what I'm saying, the first album, all of that is very negative towards women and out in this community overall, and running trains on women and killing in the streets and all this other stuff going on. So at the end of the day, and then of course you bring in, Tupac was probably the one that had the most balance out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? He had his negative stuff, but he had a lot of balance, and he kind of teach and educate the community more than any other artist, probably any other artist in any generation at all. That's why he's still celebrated to this day. So at least we had balance back then when it comes to certain artists. Nowadays, there's no balance. It's just kill, kill, kill. I don't like my ops. I'm gonna get high for these pills. I'm gonna shake my. Even though all the ladies want to be Lil Kim and Trina, you know what I'm saying? All of them want to be that. None of them want to stand out to be their own person. So once again, our culture kind of created that, and I tell people this all the time. When you have something in it, and you don't try to, if you don't stop it or kind of like steer it a different way, it's going to evolve to something else. So that's why hip hop has evolved and become so negative. Because before it was, they could separate life and art. You know what I'm saying? But now everybody is putting it together. Oh, whatever I do in these streets, oh, I got to do it in the music. And so now, if I see you, it's on site. It's really on site. I'm killing you on site. I'm not gonna just fight you. I ain't gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna kill you on site when I see you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest difference is they killing each other on site. They not just having like you have rappers back in the day like, yeah, when I bumped into what you were at the party or whatever, we went outside and we had a conversation. We good. You know what I'm saying? But now these cats when they there goes such and such. Oh yeah, yo go get the gun. You know what I'm saying or whatever. So
Well,
that's
these kids today, they're not real artists. I talk to some people and I ask them about certain rappers from back in the day. They don't even know who they are. And the difference between the kids today than when we were coming or I was coming up, because you guys are babies, they used to study the greats because hip hop was new. So it's not like they could study other artists, other rappers. They had to study the greats. So they had to create their own styles and stuff like that. And they practice and stuff. These kids they just go out. If they can afford studio time, they have studios in their own houses now. If they got access, they just do. And if they got a little follow and a little buzz, that's all they care about, as long as they making $1. But that's not what we were about. You had to have a education, as my sixth grade teacher John Betsy would say. You had to learn and study. Just like a boxer, you got to watch the tapes. You got to keep watching the tapes to see that this person moves, so that you know how to maneuver. But let me get back to NWA, because I love gangster rap, and I feel there's a place in it. But the reason why it's so ineffective is because people have lost imagination. When I was growing up, you pretended, you played, you had to use your imagination. That was always encouraged. So you knew the difference between reality and the fake stuff. These kids have no imagination at all. Everything is real to them. But to NWA's credit, when Rodney King got his ass beat, can I say ass? When he got his ass beat and those cops were acquitted, people were angry in those streets, and they talked about it. And when Fuck the Police came out, I was in the car with my friends sitting in the back. I was a teenage girl. I was sitting behind the driver. I don't even remember who was in the car, but I remember being in that car on some South Salina Street in Syracuse, New York, heading towards downtown, and Fuck the Police came out, and I was screaming because I was like, oh my God, we blasting it. We going to jail. But I was so excited at the time because there was so much aggression and so much power in the song. And if you listen to the lyrics,
the song was needed now.
I'm the person that listens to lyrics. It's not just fuck the police, fuck the police, fuck the police, fuck the police, going straight from the underground. Got a young nigga got it bad because I'm brown. I know that song by heart. I know the lyrics. So when you listen to the lyrics and the power behind it, and then they were so gangster with it, you know what I'm saying? It was needed, and it created fear because it's like, oh my God, it's Black Panther 2.0. You know what I'm saying? It put people on alert. Now the problem came because we didn't do anything about it. It's like if you have a leader or something and he don't have no backbone. You know what I'm saying? So now everybody's scared. They're on alert. But once people started seeing that these white kids were buying it and money was being made and stuff like that, then we were pimped once again. And that's where we are now. We live in a pimp and hoe type of society.
This is true. Now, this is my thing about, that record. Was it needed? Man, yeah, it was needed. Yeah, because there was a lot going on, man. A lot of police brutality going on. Yeah, it was going. Yeah, it was needed. Innocent people getting beat for no reason. Yeah, it needed. But if you're gonna say that, then you got to stand on top of your guns now.
Yeah.
Like you can't say F the police and easy and Ice Cube going at it. You talking about a real diss song, then you gotta talk about No Vaseline. Like
That's
real
right.
talk.
That's right.
One of the most disrespectful diss records known to man, boy. What the world. And so that's my thing. We'll do this, against, police brutality. We'll do this against us, but when it comes to us, each other, man, listen, man. Like, for every cop that kill a young innocent Black person, man, we got, like, it makes no sense for a 13-year to have a chopper with 90 rounds in it. It makes no sense for a 13, 14-year to have banana clips. You know what I mean? Like, I got plenty of friends in Chicago, and when I look at Chicago, man, listen, man, I don't even say Chi-Town. When my homeboy called me, he be like, man, I'm stopping through Chicago now. I said, boy, welcome to Beirut. Look, guess where you at? You know what I mean?
You know what's sad though, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you continue. And I just thought about this. It's another reason why our kids don't look up to us. Look what you see on the internet right now. You see like a Charleston White and a Whack 100. You see Bootsy and T.I. You see all these older cats, our age, a little bit older, beefing with each other on social media. Oh, like Tiffany was saying, old school, like the old school cats had a different way they moved. Back in the day, a street cat or these older cats would have not have been on social media beefing. If I got a problem with you, I'm gonna call you up and we either gonna talk on the phone or we gonna meet up and we gonna discuss our issues. But if we gonna play it the same way the young people playing it and think they're gonna look up to us, why would they? When they see that we doing exactly what they're doing. We supposed to be above all of that. We supposed to be bigger than all of that. We supposed to show a certain decorum to say, okay, kids, when you have a problem with another man, this is the way you deal with it. Even Jay Prince started getting on the internet beefing with people. You know what I'm saying? And he's supposed to be the super OG. So when he doing it, you know it's bad. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there too.
Well, I blame it on cell phones, to be honest with you. I'm not even going to put the internet first. I blame it on cell phones because before cell phones, men didn't even get on the phone like that. They'll be on the phone with their girlfriend or something, but just to be on the phone talking to a dude, that's unheard of. You get on the phone, meet me at the park. We're gonna go play ball and hang up the phone. They were on the phone for hours and hours and hours with no dudes. You know what I'm saying? Now you see people on men on cell phones gossiping like women. So I blame it on cell phones. That got it popping. But then the internet too. The internet gave people a way to escape and to be whoever they want to be. You know, I talk to people all the time about catfishing. Like, who gets catfished in 2022? Like,
the internet is trash. The internet is still trash.
Yes, but the thing is, people are so in love with fantasy. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get caught up in this AI stuff because it's fantasy. No, you can't even survive in reality, but they're creating all this fantasy. You can be in the metaverse and all this other stuff. You're creating a fantasy because they know us. The niglet's gonna run to it. We gonna flock to it, and whatever we make popular is gonna be popular all over the world, and it's really sad.
Well, again, I just want to say back to when you said that a lot of the young generation ain't got no talent. So the internet makes all the young people look like superstars. You know what I mean? They make them look like superstars. So I asked a young artist the other day, he about 25. Yeah, about 24, 25. I said, man, you think you can sell 50,000 units out your trunk in one summer? It's like, what do you mean? You mean actually go talk to people and sell it? He just looked at me like, well, no, I never really thought about it. I said, well, your favorite rappers that you see that's been in the industry for years, that's what they did. You know, like they couldn't even get on radio, limited bandwidth for rappers to get on radio like that. You know what I mean? Unless you catered to the females like a LL or something like that. I was like, but limited band, like UGK then wasn't on the radio, man, until they did the song Big Pimpin'. And they already had been in the business over 15 years then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I said to him, I said, no disrespect to you because you're using what you have. You use the internet. I said, but the internet make you guys lazy. I said, y'all don't do poster signings. Y'all don't do CD signings. Y'all don't do free concerts for the kids no more. Like y'all don't even connect with nonprofits, man, to really create a song for a nonprofit, man, so you can get your name out that in the charity world. You know what I mean? For people that's doing stuff for the community, man. I was like, y'all are limited with what y'all do, man. And I was like, I feel like the internet has made a lot of them lazy. I could be wrong, but that's the way I feel when I've seen. I feel like they should have never took and made everything just digital. To make something work and make something flow, you have to mix the analog with the digital. You know, just like I know business owners right now, this business, they don't give a damn about the digital era. They'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you, come in the office, come and see me. We'll sit down and talk. Then we'll follow with a second meeting over some lunch. And if I like what I hear and
Mm-hmm.
you like what you hear, and we can both accommodate each other, then we'll do a business deal, and that's it.
You know what? You know what they should. You know how they should change it. They should change it where even if you have like your music online, that it's only there for promo, and you can't actually be able to access people's music for free. If you want this music, actually wanted this music, they see that what they should have did incorporated with the CD or with other whatever MP3, whatever forms of music you use, where I maybe can hear bits and pieces of it online. But if I want to actually purchase it, I have to do my due diligence of actually purchasing it. Like remember back in the day when you used to could go into a radio store, and even then they would have it set up where you had the microphones or had a headphone where you
Mm-hmm.
could go there and listen to the album. But you still,
Mm-hmm.
before you actually got access to that album, you had to buy it. So I
Yeah.
think what happened is we made it way too easy for people just to get music for free. So now we wondering why, you know what I'm saying, why it is the way it is. Because I don't think necessarily think these artists, these young people, and I try to give them the benefit of the doubt in certain situations.
You always do. Yes, sir, you do.
I don't think they always lazy. They just never been taught any other way. You know what I'm
I
saying?
kind of
You
we
haven't
want to
been
talk,
taught
bro.
any other way.
Reading is fundamental, bro.
Huh?
Reading is fundamental. What do you mean
But
they
I'm
ain't been
saying
taught?
if you was born into this earth and somebody just gives you something, then if you're not being taught any other way to do it, how else you gonna learn? If I woke up and I ain't never have to cut my grass, if I ain't never have to wash dishes, if let's say I woke up and I already had a maid, I already had a nanny, I already had a gardener. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these rich kids do. I was in the military. Real quick, I'll give y'all a story. I was in the military in my tech school. And this little Chinese girl, you know, everybody had duties in the military, whatever you had to do. She never used a broom before. She looked like Simba, what is his name Coming to America when he was trying to use the
Mm-hmm.
mop. She tried to make a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Common sense to tell you a couple of minutes. She put it on for 8 minutes, almost blew up the whole damn dorm because she never popped the bag of popcorn. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is a lot of these kids have not been taught any other way. You know what I'm saying? Yes, some of them are
Okay,
lazy. I'll give you that.
okay.
But we still have to take responsibility too for some of these actions of our kids. You
All
know,
right,
that's all I'm saying, brother. That's all I'm saying. I don't
all
want
right.
to just
Well,
keep bashing them because that's why we can't communicate with them because that's what
all right.
they know. I got I got older kids, so that's what they tell. I get the confidence. That's when I communicate with these kids. That's the one thing they always say is y'all just always negative and bashing us, but none of y'all really try to talk to us. You know what I'm saying or whatever. Y'all just want to bash us all the time. So I'm just not. I'm just trying to make a solution instead of always complaining about how they are, like our
Well,
parents did with
well,
us.
me myself. The reason I say what I say because my granny would say, "Well, granny, I don't know how to do that." Okay, read up on it. Learn how to do it. If you don't get it the first time, read it again. Read it verbatim. Like my dad wasn't the type of cat, that like I remember my baby brother had a Hyundai hatchback. The clutch went out on it. And he said, "Man," he said, "Pops, how much a new clutch cost?" He said, "Man, a little or nothing at the junkyard." He said, who gonna get to pull it off?" He said, "You gonna pull it off." He said, "You gonna go to AutoZone and get the book, read it, and you gonna pull it off. You gonna take your own out. Then you gonna put this one back in. And you got a, 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 a newer clutch in your car, and you can drive. When you gonna pay no mechanic?"
Okay, now stop right there for a second. Stop right there for a second before you move forward. You say your dad said you go to the store, you get the book, you read it, right?
Yeah.
So now, how is it? If you want to learn how to make fix the clutch now, what do everybody do? They go to Google. So now you done took the thing you took reading out of it, because now all I got to do is find some guy in the middle of Minnesota, or Wisconsin, or Chicago, or Atlanta, or whatever, that doing a whole tutorial on how to change the clutch out. So now,
That's true.
once again, I done took away that part of the game, because now if I'm a 13, 15-year-old kid or 16-year-old kid that want to learn how to do something, I'm gonna just Google it and watch somebody do it play by play. I'm not gonna go read about it when I can just watch you do it and emulate what you're doing. That's all I'm saying, brother. That's all.
But the sad thing is, and if you know what, you guys stay right there for 1 second, because I want to say something, but I need my prop. Hold on.
I just think, man, the only thing they interested is in a cell phone and some Jordans.
Yeah, yeah.
I apologize, people. So this book right here, Build in Atlanta, is about the story of Herman J. Russell. And he talks about when he was a little boy, his father taught him how to build, how to use hammer and nails.
Mm-hmm.
And he was building little sheds and stuff like that. And he grew to build an empire. These kids today don't have no skills. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to do nothing. We talk about the Mexicans standing at Home Depot looking for work every day. But you see a whole bunch of niggas standing on the corner. They selling drugs to the people in the community. You know what I'm saying? But these people, they making money and they're trained. We talk about how they come over here. Oh, they taking our jobs and stuff like that. But they're trained to do stuff. They're not coming over here not doing nothing. They working. Mm-hmm. And this man right here had a man in his life that taught him what he could do with hammer and nails. You know what I'm saying? With hammer and nails. These kids, they don't even know what a nail. I didn't even know what a wrench was, you know, when I was coming up. You know what I'm saying? I knew what a hammer was, but I didn't know what a wrench was. Nobody's teaching us nothing. We don't have the grandmothers teaching us how to crochet. We don't have people teaching us how to paint, how to do roof, and how to do things. We always outsourcing to get our information. Mm-hmm. YouTube and stuff wouldn't be necessary if we were teaching our kids the necessary skills that they need, you know. And earlier we were talking about the negativity and stuff like that, but what are we teaching them? What are we giving them so that they can learn and they can grow and they can become entrepreneurs? We're not giving them anything, any tools.
And then Tiffany, we got to fight with certain women too. To be honest with you, don't be working my baby like that. Like, what? What? Mm-hmm. Listen, man, I come from that man where he was tough and hard nosed. My auntie better not say nothing to my daddy like that. What? Working him. This was my daddy thing. Heat wasn't made for man. Man was made for heat. Mm-hmm. And so if you complain about how hot it is, if you complain about doing something, he just gonna hold it on your ass. And while everybody else is finished their work, your ass still gonna be out there working. So you never gonna complain again.
Well, you know, we don't have enough men fighting to be in their children's lives.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say you can wrap it up. We're gonna end it with you after you make your comment.
Okay. Well, you know, you got a lot of women raising boys to be girls, because they're emulating their mothers. They don't have a lot of male energy. They don't know what it's like to be around real men. You know, a lot of women are raising their children in households where there's a lot of women and a lot of homosexual men around. No shade to the homosexual, but these boys aren't being raised to be men. And they're isolating the Black man out of these children's lives. And I think the court system needs to be changed, because it shouldn't be about child support. Child support shouldn't be about the money. It should be about the child's support, emotional support. They need to be with their fathers, no matter what. If he was good enough to lay with, then he should be good enough to be around his babies, because we're not going to have real men around if they're being raised by single women who don't know that they need a village in order for their children to thrive.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you coming on this morning. During this holiday season. You might have. I'm pretty sure you probably got some last minute shopping or something to do.
I don't celebrate holidays.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that's what it is. Hey, so, but I get to a whole other conversation about that. But hey, about celebrating holidays. Jacob told me I was crazy because I was like, yeah, Christmas, whatever. But anyway,
he like, man, I don't want to talk about that.
A lot of people call me a Grinch, but I got different reasons why I don't celebrate it. I don't really like it. You know what I'm saying?
I do research on holidays. I don't follow the crowd. I do research. Why do we do the things we do?
Exactly. So that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I appreciate you coming on here this morning. Give everybody information how they can follow you, how they can follow the radio station. And I appreciate that you have us on that you affiliated with us and that you partnered up with us. I tell Jacob, I tell people all the time, it's crazy. I say, because all our affiliates, all our partners are females or ladies. You know what I'm saying? I say that's good and bad. You know what I'm saying? It's good for the fact that we come together as a black man and a black woman to create stuff, but it's bad because we don't have enough men that come together to do the same thing.
You know what? It's funny that you say that because on my radio station, all the shows that I have are from men because women don't want to work with me. So for some reason, I beg it, like, please, I want the ladies. They don't want to come over there. But anyway, you can find me on cerealradio.com. You can find the 95 South podcast on Sundays at, I think, 9 a.m. on Sundays. But you can go to cerealradio.com to find me. You can go to Facebook, Tiffani Real. That's Tiffani. If it's Y, it definitely ain't me. And Instagram, She Real Radio. And I really appreciate you guys being on my show, on my station. And I hope we have a long and prosperous relationship.
Yes, ma'am. So everybody have a great and wonderful Christmas holiday. Don't drink, eat, or do anything else too much. Just enough. You know what I'm saying? But show somebody some love and do something for somebody this week. You know what I'm saying? So till next time, y'all be great.
Peace.
We got the good vibe, got the 1942 pouring in my cup.